most incredible day as always. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my What I Read in June video. I am still very impressed that I am keeping up with this very big reading bug that I've got going on, because normally by now I'd have got bored, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the sort of person that has read for a very, very long time. So the fact that this is my second video, I feel very, very impressed. So in the month of June, I read 8 books. However, it is currently the 30th of June as I'm filming this video, and I am really close to finishing one of these, so I'm counting it because I'm going to finish it tonight. I'm going to have a bath, I'm going to binge the rest of it, so it will be finished tonight. So I'm going to include it anyway because it's part of a series, and the fact that I completed a whole series this month just pleases me to no end. So we have 8 books, losing the plot, 8 books to go through, 5 of which are part of a series, so I will go through all of those first because I feel like I don't need to talk about them too much individually. I just feel like as a whole I can discuss it. So we're going to start with those. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Grab yourselves a snack. Also, if you haven't already, I would absolutely love some book recommendations. I have 6 books on my to be read list at the moment because I bought more books. If you didn't see the haul video, I bought more books. 6 of them I still have to read. So yeah, let me know down below any of your recommendations. I love Colleen Hoover's style of writing. I pretty much am happy to give anything a go. I'm not necessarily interested in reading like true life vibes. I'm all about the fiction, do you know what I mean? So yeah, any book recommendations, let me know. But let's dive in. I hope you enjoy and carry on watching. So the first 5 books were part of a series, and I have mentioned this in a previous video, so I won't talk about it too much, but this is the Discreet series by Willa, who I found on TikTok, believe it or not. I actually stumbled across her videos and I loved the fact that her books are a little bit saucy, like they have a lot going on. They're definitely romance kind of novels, but a little bit more, if that makes sense. Very 50 Shades of Grey on steroids, if you know what I mean. So definitely not for the underage readers, but I love her style of writing so much. They're so easy to read. I read these very quickly. I usually get through one of these in about 2 days, and considering I work 9 till 6, I think that's quite good going. So yeah, I get through them really, really quickly. And I read books 1 to 5, so I am planning on continuing through her series. She has about 50, so it is going to be an ongoing thing. However, the stories do change, if that makes sense. I believe this is the only, like, these are the mafia romance, I guess, style books that she has, and then it kind of goes on to something different and different characters and that kind of thing. So I'm really, really excited about that. I won't go on about too much about each individual story because if I'm being honest, the only thing I didn't like is the similarities of the stories because they are very similar. So essentially somebody from the mafia finds a girl, they kind of like start having relations, friends with benefits vibes, and then it becomes more, and then somebody gets kidnapped and then gets rescued. It's a very samey kind of story, but I really, really loved this series. I love that you relate to each of the characters the further you go on in the series as well. So the further you go on, you get introduced into more and more characters and it refers back to them and kind of that kind of thing. I just really, really liked it, and each book I think was about £10 on Amazon. Really great. The one that I'm reading at the moment is Anthony and Catherine. I would say this is probably my least favourite, simply because this is more of a capture kind of vibe, and it's not that it's distressing or anything like that, it's just my least favourite because I feel like if somebody captures someone and then they fall in love, like, it feels quite forced and not like a true love kind of story. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. This is my least favourite, but I am nearly finished. I have probably 50 pages left, 40 pages left, so I will finish that today. But we also have Dom and Becca, which is the first one. We have Vince and Elle, which was actually the first one that I read. I forgot to buy the first one, don't ask. I really liked this one. We then have Cain and Ava, which was a really lovely story. And then Tommy and Tonya. But I think, was Tommy and Tonya my favourite? I did really like this one. This was kind of like mafia meets police force vibes. Loved it, so good. So those are the 5 from the Mafia series, and then I am going to continue reading through her Discreet series and move on to different subjects, if that makes sense. I think that's the best way to describe it. If not, have a look at her TikTok because it makes so much more sense when you see her describing it. But yes, I really loved these. I would recommend them if you do like the more spicy kind of book, I suppose. It is very full on, like every word is used in these books, do you know what I mean? Like it is quite a lot, but I really like them. They're so easy to read and it just kind of, I don't know, they were just really interesting, so I did love those. So now moving on to the 3 books which weren't part of a series. They are all by the amazing Colleen Hoover, by no surprise. I have to feature a few every single month because I am slowly trying to go through all her books. So the first one that I read was Reminders of Him, and this book was absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, so don't worry, but essentially it's about, I'm going to try and describe it without giving it away. There's a girl called Kenna who goes to prison for something, which you find out what it is quite early on in the book, and she actually had a daughter while she was in prison. However, her partner's parents took her in to look after her because obviously she was in prison, so she couldn't have a baby there. And when she comes out of prison, she really wants to kind of go back to her daughter, reconnect and that kind of thing. However, the parents of her partner have a little bit of a different vibe about her, and Kenna meets somebody along the way. Their relationship kind of flourishes. It's just beautiful. Like, this book is so good. I actually did shed a tear while reading this book because of how beautiful the ending was. I'm not going to give it away. Obviously, I don't like giving away too many spoilers in these videos, but this book was absolutely stunning. It was a definite 5 out of 5 for me. I would happily read it again. It was just so brilliant. The way I cannot praise this book enough. I feel like it just was everything I wanted and more. So yeah, Reminders of Him is a definite Coho favourite of mine. I highly recommend it. Any Colleen Hoover books, by the way, that you think I would love, please let me know. I have Without Merit in my to be read pile, but yeah, I would just love some more. So yeah, Reminders of Him, incredible. Not my favourite this month, but definitely an incredible book, so I loved that. The next book again is by Colleen Hoover, and this is Hopeless. Now, I have recently made an Instagram highlight where I will go through kind of the books that I finished within the month, give you a little rundown of my thoughts. I probably won't do it all that often in regards to every single book. Like, I won't review every single one of these because it's kind of part of a series. However, I will put a few Instagram stories up just with like a brief description of kind of how I thought the book was. So if you haven't followed me, make sure you do. Ramble over this book now. This book was just so good. Essentially, it's about a girl called Sky who was adopted at the age of 3, and she meets somebody called Dean, and it's about their kind of relationship, how they're kind of like, I don't want to say enemies to lovers because it's not, I wouldn't say they're enemies at the start, but their relationship definitely does grow, and you find out so much about the backstories of these characters that I love that. I love a good story that goes into so much detail about the backstories, and it kind of, so it doesn't leave me with any questions. Do you know what I mean? Like, the same with the movie. Like, if a movie doesn't answer all my questions, it's the worst thing in the world. This answered all my questions and more, and this is a part of a series, so I will be giving the rest of the books a go. But this was just incredible. I absolutely loved this book. It was just so good. It was a little bit longer actually. This one had about 400 pages, which for me is quite a lot. But I did read this quite quickly. I think I took it on holiday, so it took me about 4 or 5 days. Considering I was doing stuff every day, I think that's quite good. But yeah, incredible book. If you haven't read this one, I really loved it. And again, a 5 out of 5. I really loved it. Can I say really loved it one more time? Really loved it. But yeah, amazing. And the last book I read this month was another one by Colleen Hoover, and I have to say this is probably one of my top Colleen Hoover books ever. This book was so incredibly good, a 5 out of 5. I would give it a 6 out of 5 if that was at all possible, but this is Confess by Colleen Hoover. Now, this book, if you want a really good Colleen Hoover book that you know is going to be amazing and you're not going to be disappointed, this is incredible. It is so, so good. This is about Auburn and Owen, and Auburn goes through a lot of loss right at the start of the book, and Owen is a painter, he's an artist, he has his own gallery, and their paths cross kind of near the start of the book, and it's just all about their ongoing sort of, ongoing? Is that a new term I just made up? Ongoing relationship, and kind of they haven't known each other all that long. I think the whole book takes place within like a week or something. Like, it's very, very short sort of time, but it's just so good. I really love this book so much. There's another character in it which I don't like. If you've read this, you know, but if you haven't read it, I'm not going to ruin it. But yeah, there's a lot of characters in this book that you kind of love and you hate, but it just isn't all what it seems, and I love that. The twists, the turns. Auburn has such a big secret kind of revealed midway through the book, and you just don't expect it at all. And I read it and I was like, excuse me? Like, I could not believe it. And also I really like this book because I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to pick a random page because I don't want to ruin it. They have actually put in some pictures that Owen made, so you can kind of get an idea of what they're talking about when they talk about the pictures. But yeah, I loved this book. An absolute 5 out of 5. It's got to be one of my top 3 Colleen Hoover books. So this, Verity, and I want to say November 9 are my favourites so far. So yeah, if you haven't read this, please read it. If you love Colleen Hoover and you haven't read Confess, it's the best thing in the world, so definitely give it a go. So those are all of the books I read throughout June. Let me know down below what books you read, if you've read any of these, and your thoughts and opinions. I would love to know. And also please do let me know, again, some recommendations down below of books similar to the ones that I've just sort of described. Anything like that is definitely up my street. I do have a few different authors for next month. I've got 6 books that I really want to read, so hopefully I can read them all, but they are a little bit bigger sort of page-wise, so I want to get through a few of them, but they're all by different authors pretty much. I think there's at least 3 or 4 different authors in there, so I'm really excited to give those a go. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.